Hello everyone. In this video, I'll show you how to build a smart personal system for saving and finding your favorite book quotes in Obsidian. If you are an avid reader or just someone who loves collecting ideas, this workflow will help you find and enjoy the book quotes you have saved. It's a really useful way to remember all those text lines you have collected over time. As your collection of book quotes gets bigger, it's easy for things to get overwhelming. You might remember a line, an author's name, or just a fragment of a quote. But finding it again can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack unless you have a solid system in place. That's where the atomic notes approach in Obsidian comes to help. I've tried many tools for this type of workflow, but so far Obsidian provides a solid starting point that's both simple to understand and easy to build on. You would say that today, to find what you are looking for, you need a vector database and an LLM with access to that database. The LLM understands the context and provides what you need. You can achieve similar functionality using your own vector database with LLM access to it. Or even easier, in the cloud by relying on tools like NotebookLM powered by Gemini. In this video, the focus is on Obsidian, which has a few important advantages over the cloud. First, your notes are stored locally on your machine, giving you full control over your data, something that might matter if privacy is a concern. Even if Google states that NotebookLM doesn't use your personal data for training. So your local storage gives you an extra layer of ownership. Second, Obsidian is highly extensible. With its rich plugin ecosystem, you can tailor your tool to a specific workflow, whether that means integrating a local vector database, managing tasks, visualizing relationships with a graph view, or even adding a local AI layer. If you are more interested in the vector database solution, check out my video about how to install and configure one. Let me show you what you'll be able to create by the end of this tutorial. Based on the quotes concept, we will have a quotes directory. Inside of this folder, each quote will be saved as a separate entry. And each quote will contain the quote itself, the name of the source, the author, tags that describe the theme, date of collecting the quote, and your reflection, which here I mentioned it in a more personal way that will make sense to you when using the template. Each entry will be created based on a template defined. You'll be able to use the search bar to find what you are looking for. You'll be able to see your tags to the right and use the graph view to see how your entries relate to each other. Now let's see how we can build this workflow. Step 1. Create a quotes folder. In Obsidian, right-click in this area and choose New Folder, or click on the folder icon on the top. Let's call this folder Quotes. This keeps everything together and easy to browse. Step 2. Set up the quote template. Go to Settings, Core Plugins, Enable Templates. Create a template folder. Set the template folder in Settings. Create a new note in Templates called Quote Template. Paste in the template from the description. Or you can type it like this. Your quote goes here. Add the source with a deep link. Author with a deep link. The theme, which are going to be your tags. The date, which will be automatically added when you use the template. And my reflection. Here you can add your thought, context, or leave it blank. Every quote you save will now follow the same easy-to-search format, because this format is going to help with the search itself. Let's fill in the template with a quote, book, author, and tags. This is just a fictive note with a fictive book name and author. To do this, right-click on the folder and select New Note. A new entry will be created inside of this folder. Then use Command P on Mac, Ctrl P on Windows to open the command palette window. Here, type Insert Template. It will automatically find your template as the Templates folder has been mentioned earlier in the settings. Select the template. It will be applied to this specific entry. You can paste here the example from the description of this video. Let's add a couple of more notes as an example. So again, insert template, quote template created earlier, and I will create and paste a few more quotes. And here we have it. These deep links connect your quotes to other entries in your vault, making it effortless to browse by book, author, or theme. When you use double brackets like here or here, every mention becomes a clickable link. Click on it and you jump instantly to that author or book note. In case the note doesn't exist, a new one will be created. Let's take this example. I click on the author name here and a new note gets created if it doesn't exist. Then I can make a new folder and move the note there. Now going to the previous entry, if I click on the author name, it will open the already existing note about this author thanks to the deep link functionality. This way, your vault of entries never leads to a dead end. Over time, as you link quotes to authors, books, and themes, aka tags, you create a network of entries. Step 5. Using search to find quotes instantly. With every quote on its own entry, and thanks to links and tags, you can find any quote searching by author, book, theme, or even a single word. You can go here, click on search, and then you can search by a tag. You can search by an author, or you can search by any word in any entry. Step 6. Visualizing connections with a graph view. Every link and tag you have added automatically builds this interactive map of your entries. You can see how everything is connected. Obsidian's graph view is a visual map of your entries, helping you to spot clusters and relationships you might not have noticed before. Let's open the graph view. What is displayed is this map. You can notice the clusters and the connections between entries. For instance, if I hover over Elena Rivers, the connections with this specific note will be highlighted. In this case, she is mentioned in 2 entries. Looking at the other author, Samuel Greenfield, will highlight one single entry as he is only mentioned there. Alas, hovering over an entry will highlight important connections. Here, Patience is an art entry, contains two deep links, one with the author name, the other being the name of the book from which this code has been extracted. Again, these are potential new entries that will be created if they don't exist. And if they exist, you'll be redirected there. Hovering over Whispers of the Night shows its connection with one entry in which it is mentioned. And by clicking on it, the entry gets created if it doesn't exist. And so I can create the Books folder and drag this entry inside of it. Let's mention here the author of this book. Coming back to the graph view, now things get updated with the latest entries. Elena Rivers has 2 codes and 1 book entry in the Obsidian vault. Hovering over the book entry, notice how it belongs to that author and that one code from it is found in a separate entry. Step 7. Advanced Search. In the graph view, you can also filter using a more advanced type of search. If you want a map with only the codes of Elena Rivers, click on Settings, then type Elena Rivers. The map instantly updates based on the search input. Groups can be used to highlight. Open Graph Settings in the top right. Expand the Groups section, click on New Group, then enter a query. Notice that the entry that contains this tag is marked with a red color. Let's mention one more tag by typing or courage. Notice how a second entry has been highlighted. To navigate to it, it's as simple as clicking on the node. You can also change the color from here. Notice how, with groups, any note about dreams or courage stands out, even if I mention the author into the filter field. So the result is about all notes of Elena Rivers, highlighting the ones that contain the dreams or courage tags. Step 8. Line Search. Using line search in Obsidian, it tells Obsidian to only show results where all the keywords appear on the same line, not scattered across the note. It's super useful when you are trying to find a specific sentence or idea where the terms are closely connected. Let's take a look at this note. Here, we can use the line to find this specific note by going to Graph View, Settings, and Search bar. I can input line, and then let's find 2 keywords. Let's search for something that contains journey and question. We get this result because on the same line, the word journey and the word question can be found. If I'm going to add a third word coming from a different line, I will get no results. For instance, let's add the word context. As you can see, there are no results because these 3 words cannot be found on the same line. In order to find this note without having any words on the same line, you can just remove the line option. That's it. With these tips, your vault in Obsidian becomes not just a collection, but a living map. If you learned something new, give this video a like and share your favorite search or graph tricks in the comments.